Hello, hello. Oh, there we go. Looks like I got some red now. No, there wouldn't have been sound. There should be some sound now, but there wouldn't have been sound a second ago. So let me see if I was actually talking, but because somebody likes to complain and whine that the sound keeps cutting out, I'm trying a different microphone tonight to see if that would make too much, see if it makes any difference. Yeah. No, so I guess it was still set on the headset, so I had to switch it over to the boom mic and see if that made a difference. Because we can't have certain people in the room complaining that the sound cuts out all the time. Yeah, some people, what are you going to do? Hold on. I didn't realize there were so many different settings for me to change. They're everywhere. God, there's settings everywhere. All right, so hopefully you guys can hear me a bit better today. It's weird with this like the boom mic in my face, so I'm gonna have to find like a better location for it. I think. I don't know. The life of a streamer, right? The life of a streamer. It'd be easier if I was looking forward, but I look to my side, so it's kind of like a weird. I don't know. It's a weird angle. I mean, how does the sound quality sound versus the other microphone? Let me know. It's weird not having the headset on either. I'm like, huh. Like my ears are here. It's like, wow. All right, so you guys let me know how the sound quality is, and very clear. Yeah, it should be. I mean, it's a different type of a mic. It's a condenser mic. But if the baby's in the hallway screaming, you guys are probably going to hear doing some of the recordings today for the class. I was listening to the playbacks. I'm like, wow. The birds are 2 rooms over. I could hear them, and the baby was crying downstairs. Completely different level of the house, and I could hear her on the microphone. So it's crazy. It picks up all kinds of noises. It was funny. One of the there's like a couple different like setups and how to change the settings and tweak it around and stuff. One of them was like, yeah, you remember that hamster you lost 2 years ago, where you're going to hear it walking through the walls. Condenser mics pick up that much sound. So the other one was up and down, light then loud. Yeah, good different type of mic. It's not made for like sustained sound. That and the baby, has probably bit and sucked on the microphone a few times. Not gonna lie. All right, yeah. So, anyway, guys, looking at the markets today, basically today was a day of dollar strength, crazy dollar strength. Actually, I mean, looking at this across the board, I mean, slam down the euro 100 pips. Pound. I mean, even the pound with the strength that we've been seeing, down 125, which is a big amount. Dollar yen up 60. Swiss up 64. We saw that those were shorts yesterday. Now they were all longs. And then dollar CAD, wow. I mean, 225 to the top side. I mean, just absolutely unbelievable. And again, that is associated with oil. Not surprising there, right? That is as high as it was. And then looking at the Aussie dollar, again, slammed that one for 128. That's actually bigger than the ATR. So that and the CAD are definitely outside of the range of what normal is. Euro pound, you can see the pound is still grinding just a little bit higher, right? Another 9 pips. This one's actually coming against it, right? It's going a little bit of weakness. And then pound yen down 54. So for the most part, today's moves have kind of counterbalanced what we've seen the last day or two. And, what are you going to do? I mean, that's going to happen. There's not much we can do about that. As far as the numbers go, we have that core retail sales. The actual core number, basically minus automobiles, was minus 5.4. So not as bad as actually what they had expected. And then it was kind of split, right? Because then the other retail sales number, everything was down a little bit more, which, it is what it is. I mean, we keep seeing positive, we hear some positive news, and even the Maryland guy, even Hogan said some positive stuff today, which you don't really see him doing. He's always, oh, it's worst case scenario. I'm the Governors Association, and he did talk about 5 different teleconferences he was on today. So who knows? But didn't mention that we're not quite there yet, but that they're going to start discussing recovery plans. That it looks like hospitalization rates have stabilized in Maryland, and they're getting like 4.2 million new masks in next week, and we have excess ventilators at this moment in time. So I don't know. If he's got some type of positiveness to it, then I don't know. Who knows? Like I said, I think we're going to be wearing masks for a while. They just put that in, but. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody else said 2 years, and I was like, no, it's not going to take 2 years. Most of the vaccines are fast tracking, so 2 years, I just don't know about that. But he did say that we actually have 800 people now 800 people that have recovered and signed up on a website in Maryland to share their experiences with it as like a support group person, be notified for trials and other stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool that we have 800 people that are fully recovered now and have already signed up to whether help others, join clinical trials, help give out data, and just overall support groups across the country. So yeah, those are just Marylanders. So that's cool. BOC, there's some information, basically some weakness. That's all we saw there. Obviously, the rate came in exactly as expected. Trump had his press conference, and then employment change for the Aussie is in the next 30 minutes. I'm not taking that vaccination. I don't know. I mean, if you drink enough vanilla vodka, I'm pretty sure that will kill whatever gets into your system. I'm just saying, between smoke, lack of oxygen, and vanilla flavored vodka, I think you're good, man. I think you're good. Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, if you raise your blood alcohol content enough, that sanitizes everything, right? That's my theory anyway, right? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the same idea, right? Smoking, how come germs don't grow? Well, because the smoke kills them. So you just need to get on that pit and start doing some more stuff. That's all. All right, so looking at the news to see kind of what reacted again. Unemployment rate, how high, what could it do? We're going to see. We're going to see what happens to this one. This is up. Aussie is down 133 right now. We'll see what the end stage over here is. I mean, it could get much, much worse. We'll see in a little bit, about a half hour. For the most part, the rest of the day, this is interesting too. We entered the crisis when banks were in a strong position. Again, that means that, they'll come out of it on the strong end as well. I think vanilla moonshine is a thing, right? James, vanilla moonshine, is that a thing? Isn't it called I don't know. I guess brandy is made from fruits, right? Would vanilla classify as a fruit? I know it's a bean, but would that count as like a vanilla brandy? I don't know. I'm telling you, all my knowledge comes from Moonshiners, that show. It's like my favorite show. The guys on there are awesome. Popcorn Sutton, gotta love those guys. And it's funny when you see the maps. It's like, man, that's not that far. I wonder if I could find that guy. And then there's some of it. It's like, how is this guy not caught yet? But yeah, Mark and Jeff, those guys, yeah. All right, so looking at the hottest stories. Same thing, list. The risk of sustained deflation in Canada is low. Again, that's not bad. U.S. oil output, oil/output cut by paying drillers not to produce. Okay, so this is kind of like what you do with farmers, right? Don't we pay farmers not to produce as well? So now we're doing the same thing with oil, meaning we have way too much oil. And then again, here's the oil number coming at 19.2 versus 12 million expected, which is absolutely insane. 19.2. I mean, like I said, you can cut all the production, but when you can't use the supply up, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah, take that, OPEC. Take that. All those years of ingredients are coming back to get you. Hence another reason why I think that the virus was engineered by man. And that guy got tired of buying all the oil at high prices. Create something that destroys demand, destroys OPEC, all in one swoop. The perfect weapon. Oil at $20 a gallon, or $20 a barrel. But yeah, just unbelievable, right? All right, so with that being said, jump down into the scanner. So the scanner, all stuff, it's like all over the place. It's like a Christmas tree tonight, right? Look at the majors. Uptrend setup, dollar Swiss anchor break. Uptrend setup, anchor break. Anchor break. Downtrend setup, anchor break. So again, it just shows you how volatile the day it was today because there's so many anchor breaks. When you have more anchor breaks up there than not, it tends to be, again, these are all dollar-based anchor breaks, right? I mean, I guess most of the majors will have it as well, but even looking at the European basket, look at this Euro basket, right? Everything is basically negative except this one little Euro New Zealand, which it's an anchor break to the top side. It wasn't a negative pattern, in a bearish pattern. But downtrend setup, and again, seeing blues in the lower time frames is what you're looking for. Dollar Swiss, again, dollar Swiss has been an interesting situation. It's kind of been like, you don't hear much news, but then it's shown a bunch of strength over there. About to check that one out. That one actually is one of the ones that held its ATR, didn't get crazy, didn't get too wild. So it was more or less insulated from the whole coronavirus thing. Not that they couldn't get the disease there, but the currency didn't move. It had the same ATR. And then obviously the anchor break on the dollar down here. So again, taking most of this, again, all these X's over here, these are all anchor breaks. Looking at the CAD basket. So CAD, again, this one is kind of, kind of wish-washy, right? I mean, the news was not great today, right? But it's kind of wish-washy. We have one that's up, right? CAD's in the first position. Then we have the next one is green, or this blue. But what is that doing? CAD's in the second position, then CAD in the second position, CAD in the second position, and then again we start getting the negatives. But CAD's in the first position, negative here, but in the second position and second position, negative here, showing strength. So it's kind of all over the place. It's one of those ones that there's no real rhyme or reason for it right now. The fact that the CAD can be weak against the U.S. currency makes sense. Against the Aussie, kind of makes sense, right? Kind of. Against the pound, it's only a little bit, right? A little bit, tiny bit, right? But then weak against the yen, weak against the New Zealand, that makes no sense. I mean, I guess kind of because the Aussie, but how is the Aussie strong but the New Zealand's not? And then against the euro, it's kind of the same thing. How is the CAD that much stronger than the euro right now? That doesn't make a lot of sense. But going over the last two baskets, look at this. Solid blue, solid blue. Now, this is a little bit weird. Again, what you're seeing is a lot of these to remove, right? Because looking here, right? This one is down, so how is it bullish? Well, you can see it's a downtrend set it, meaning it was an uptrend and it's pulling back on the lower time frames. Looking for something more, right? Which, as much movement as we had today, wouldn't necessarily be surprised about that if it does kind of take off in the other direction, particularly with the unemployment number. So, and then same thing over here, some weakness. So you're not seeing as many setups because we're having a bit of a consolidation over in the yen pairs. I'm sorry, in the pound pairs, just because of the move that we had. But overall, again, I'm still saying, bullish, 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 anchor break up, bullish. Lower time frames obviously pulling back, and that's what's giving us the setup. So very interesting kind of overview on this scanner. And like I said, I'm still not using the scanner at night yet for any of my positions. The only position I'm using for anything during the day. Unfortunately, things are just still a bit too volatile to do much at night. So don't have to worry about those as much. All right. So that's what we're doing scanner. So let's jump over and let's see if the microphone works over on that side on the next chart as well. So let's go over to charts. Let me set this back on the Aussie real quick. I was just checking. Hold on one sec. Yeah, I was unable to get Stream Elements to go pop up for a while. I was like, wait, what's going on here? All right, so let's pull this across. So it looks like the red bar is still moving, so hopefully you guys can still hear me here. Let's go back and go to Aussie dollar on the daily. All right, so Aussie dollar on the daily. You guys can see how this one kind of turns out, right? Oh, that's just W line thing. All right, so on the daily, obviously a big pushback again. Here's where we drew this thing last night. So nice pullback last night if anybody was taking that one. Again, there was this kind of minor wick over wick. I believe we drew it originally. Did we draw on the hourly? I feel like we drew it on the hourly. Let's see. Shrink that a little bit. Yeah, right there. There's that base right in front of the other one. So as you guys can see, we did get a turn and a flip on this one back to the downside. Made it pretty. I mean, this is some big movement today. Again, the ATR on this one on the daily is currently at 110, and this moved 130. So it's been a while since we actually had a move, right? It's been a while since we had a move that was actually larger than the ATR on this pair. And you can see that the lines like, wait, what are you doing? Wait, what's going on? So yeah, pretty interesting. So where we are now with this one, we're going to have to start our analysis over on the hourly. And stretch this back out. There you go. So you can see we took a small bounce earlier, and we're kind of back in that area right now. For me, with the momentum, again, I don't see U.S. traders coming in and kind of providing weakness. It is driven down into a level about 10 minutes before news. And you can see on the 30-minute, we're getting pretty close, and there's a little wick over wick here. Ideally, for a long this one before news, I would like to be all the way down here. I think that's a much better place. We know that there's been buyers sitting here. But with news pushing this down right before news, again, this could be a potential long situation. And like I said, I prefer if it's just a little bit lower. It's not quite down where it should be, but it's close. It's close, but it's not exactly where it should be for news. But if anything, for me, it looks like this could be a potential bounce area. Now, again, remember, there could be a Harry Potter trade in this one if we end up spiking through the bottom. Do the little triangle exercise over here, right? Right. If we come down because of news. Now, if we come all the way down into this area, over into here, okay, obviously we're not going to be doing any type of Harry Potter trade, right? Because it's coming back, and it should bounce off of this zone. Now, that area is about 60 pips away. So between these two areas, if this thing shoots to the downside, these could be two great potential reversal areas, right? And the reason why is because, again, the last time price was here, boom, price shot. Two very, very large candles, right? Nice trade. A little bit lower, right? A little bit lower. And we kind of had the same idea, right? Last time price hit there, it didn't even get back down to it. It came up and formed a base and then went higher. So not too bad. Like I said, with news in 10 minutes, this one's going to be a little bit harder to analyze. But again, from the trade last night, this thing is literally off to the races, and nice move today. 130 to the downside. That's nice. Looking at Aussie CAD. Let's cycle these through. All right, so Aussie CAD, we had a position that we were talking about being up top, and we were unable to get back to it. Clicking this one right now, we were sitting right here last night. So that was actually the high last night, and we never ended up getting back to it, right? Let's see. Where is it? Yeah, we're right over here. We were unable to get back to that high. We came all the way down and got to the area that we were talking about, although it bounced. It didn't crash through. So this Harry Potter I would still keep as a valid trade. Move this down to here so you can see where that zone is approximately at. Right there. Okay. 88.42 or 88.44 is the top of that zone. Actually, the bottom is probably more important. Bottom is right there. 88.29. All right. Look to the downside. Aussie, New Zealand. Okay. Was hoping this one would come up. It didn't. It went back down. So here's what we have. Here's the kind of sideways movement in the Aussie, New Zealand. I expected a little bit more from this pair today, and all we did was really chop back and forth. As you can see on the hourly, it stayed within, what do we got here? About a 30, 40 pip range. So with the candle being here, whoops, here's where we are now. Here's where we were last night. All right. Yeah, right here. So you can see this one has about 12 pips of movement in the last 24 hours. Now, nice pop down, nice pop back up. And again, all it did was follow that kind of pattern. So this one I can see literally turning and spiking back to the downside. It's only got about 29 pips, so it's not probably the best setup. It's kind of one of these things. It's, the risk you'd have to take on the top side just to kind of avoid a whip probably isn't much, but I can see this one coming back to the downside. Again, it's been kind of an intraday channeling trade. Whoa, my phone's going crazy. Did you guys hear my phone vibrating on the table? Because it was pretty loud, and like I said, this mic picks up everything. Wait, what? Oh, it was Jack responding. I don't know. I'm sure you guys follow Jack on Instagram. Did you guys see Jack's post about the World Health Organization, about how he posted that the World Health Organization is saying that alcohol is, I guess, not good for the corona, or it's leading to the spread of the coronavirus? Yeah, I got a whole bunch of notifications all the time. Yeah, anyway, he had something up about the World Health Organization saying that alcohol was bad for the coronavirus and things, and not, because it causes liver disease and other things. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that does. Stress does those same exact things, right? But anyway, he made the comment. I had to respond back to him like, well, why do you think Trump pulled the funding to the World Health Organization? Could you imagine the riot we've had on our hands if they all sudden outlawed alcohol in the United States because of the coronavirus? Yeah. I don't know what's worse, taking our guns or taking our alcohol, I mean, look what happened last time, right? That worked out real well for him. But like I said this in the beginning, right? Did I not say make a run on copper pipes? Anybody with a copper pipe can set up a still. It's all you need. Let them take our alcohol. You make it in the bathtub. Good to go. We'll start running keep trading simple, keep trading stills, right? KTS stills. I'm going to get the website tonight. All right, so again, I'd probably look to see this one, have this one flip to the downside. Even on the 30-minute, again, very, very small areas. If you really wanted to get very specific about it, you could be setting zones up here and here from top to bottom. And again, it's been pretty valid bouncing back and forth. And actually, you could go back to this zone here from there. Okay, so compressed area. Again, it's not trending. We prefer when we have something that's a little bit more trendy, and we just don't have it right there. But like I said, news in 5 minutes. Aussie yen. Okay. There you go. Rode all the way back down on this one from top to bottom, right? Now, we are kind of sitting in this larger zone. And again, remember I mentioned there was a minor zone here. It did hit and it did bounce back out of it before it made another attempt lower. So zone's still there. We are sitting on the downside. So this one I actually don't mind to the top right now. It just depends. Yeah, I'll keep the same. Yep. Shoot me now. Right, Debbie? That's what I'm saying. Well, Debbie, we can't shoot you because they take our guns and our alcohol. Because they can't just do one. If they take our guns, there's probably going to be, either way, it's always going to go back to the guns, right? If you try to take our guns, it's going to cause, a civil war. If you try to take our alcohol and our guns, it's going to cause a civil war, but maybe less people will die. But if you try to take our alcohol, then twice as many people will die. You got to do one of the. You got to do all or nothing, right? All or nothing. So again, in this one, guys, here I'll remove this. You can see the zone that we popped through. Again, hit it based right above, and that's always something we're careful about. Remember, entry into a zone is just as important as what the zone looks like. Having that entry where it comes in and then stalls right before the zone is typically a bad thing, right? You're going to see that it bases above before it kind of bounces. It basically it's lining up, right? It made another attempt. It pushed in, came, grabbed some more orders, and then punched through. Didn't go very far, though, okay? So it did form kind of a new zone, and, going back to the hourly, you can see we're still kind of in that zone. But that's not bad. Depending on what this news is and how this news reacts, this could definitely be, some type of a kind of a long setup for this one, Okay, I got it right there. Yeah, I would definitely be more long this one, depending on the news. We'll find out in 3 minutes what this news is. Again, if they hit it dead on, this could be a good, nice little move. I'm loving this tea. It's like, I forget what the kind of rice is. It's a special kind of rice. It's like cooked rice or popped rice, or like, it's not fermented, but it's like, I feel like it's like, I forget. It's like baked rice and green tea or something like that. It's good. I'm going to Aussie Swiss. So Aussie Swiss, we'd marked this area off last night that we were looking for a price. If it came down and broke, looking for it to continue. And again, that patterning is definitely working. Like I said, nice kind of turnaround from that gap area. You can see the gap area is right there. On the 4 hour, again, there's the zone. You guys can see this is the zone we drew last night. The box, we're like, yep, we needed to go through the box. We'd like it to go through the box and come back down here, and it's about halfway through. So it's into the trade. There's really not a whole lot we can do with it right now. Again, you guys can see there was a pullback opportunity where it popped down, created that nice little box, popped up, grabbed it, came down, popped up, grabbed it again, and shot lower. I don't think we're at the 1 to 3 on that yet. No, you would have hit your 1 to 3 on that one too. So again, smaller time frame trade. But this is the box. I think we'll get farther. When we get down to this area, though, this area I do think is something worth looking at. Depending on when it does that, also matters. How many pips is it? Let's see. It's about 44. So if this news is pretty bad in 2 minutes, this could definitely spike down to this area. And then if we drop down to a 5 minute, we could see a reversal pattern off this zone. That zone it's about 8 pips, so it's not a bad little zone. So we'll see. We got 2 minutes on that, so we'll stop back here in a second. Dropping across to the CAD. I got my eye on the clock here too. This is where I'm like clicking the button, like update early. So on the daily, you guys can see the CAD yen just absolutely hammered. And again, not surprising that the CAD yen was hammered with oil and the surplus and everything. So, I mean, everything CAD based was kind of bad. As you guys can see, we talked about this somewhat topping, but there was really no way for us to get into it last night because we talked about it really starting to, basically the train's already left the station, right? Here's where we are now, and then here's where we were last night. So again, large move, but it had already turned, it had already pushed, and it was already moving, right? On an hourly, you can see we had marked off this level down here at 67 or 76.11. You can see what happened. Pushed down, popped up, boom, and up, right? Remember we talked about this? There's your 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio off that hourly. Again, nice little area, right? Even this downcline popped up, came down, and actually went again, but it went a little bit farther. So at this point, what I would do is I would take this and I would flip it the other direction. If this is going to continue to push to the downside, let's reverse it. Kind of the same idea, right? Now remember, the bottom of that zone is around 76.03. Match it off your charts. But the zone has been good for one long already. Then it got broken on the second attempt, although it did go back to the target. But now if it breaks again, if it's grabbing orders right here, right? If it's grabbing orders in this area, it's going to push down again. Okay, so look to take that. Now, with this being said, looking across the left over here, this 1 to 3 is an interesting situation. It is just below here. 1 to 5 are cool. If we can make it to 1 to 3, I think we can make it all the way back down. And that profit target here would be somewhere around this level, 75.29. Not a bad one, right? Okay. That would be approximately about 73 pips. So a nice little runner on that one. Okay. Let's see the Aussie number. Ooh, Aussie number came in good. Aussie number came in at 5.9. 5.9. So again, they actually gained jobs, and the unemployment rate was not as bad as they thought. It went up slightly, went up 0.1, but it didn't go up to 0.3 that they were expecting. So that's something that the market is probably going to make some adjustments for. So let's jump back over to Aussie real quick and see what kind of movement we have over here on this one. Yeah, you're seeing a nice little pop out of here. That's an interesting pop. It did actually, you know what? Look at this. It did go lower, guys. It did go lower. Let's see. Looks like we just missed it, but look at that. It did actually collapse in the last 5 minutes to get back down into that zone. Look at that. Look at that. Not too bad. See how that works? Now, remember what I said when we first started, right, with Aussie dollar? We started that 20 minutes ago. Price was... here. When we started chart school, we were right here. And I was like, yeah, it's a little bit too high, right? I needed to go lower. Needed to go lower for news. And what did it do? Look at that last 5 minutes before. Went right down into that zone. So not a bad mover, right? I mean, you're only talking about 22 pips, but not too bad a movement. Okay. This is why we need more than 5-minute binaries. If we had 30-minute binaries, that'd be cool. Actually, I guess this would be a 30-minute, so it would have to be like an hourly. We need like hourly binaries to take advantage of those 30-minute news bursts. But yeah, so there, let's see. Trying to see if it could grab some orders up top. Aussie CAD, we're pulling away. Aussie New Zealand, again, we're getting a pop here, but still think that one's coming down. Aussie Yen, there's the 30-minute on the Aussie Yen. Yeah, you need it over here. That's 10 pips. So same idea. Although I don't know, let me see. It's about 35 pips. We may have a little bit of a problem getting into that one, but we'll see. And Aussie Swiss again. This one's pulling back away. I'm not surprised. Aussie Swiss, but this one, once this calms down after this reaction, I think this will pop again back to the downside. But that's great news for Australia. Great news for Australia. All right, let's pop back over to CAD. Oh, child's loose. She's coming through the hallway. All right. You can hear her running through the hallway. All right, so here we go. All right, no entry on this one, obviously. Still, we still got some room to run. What were we doing that one off of? It's a huge zone. Why do I feel like that was that a Harry Potter setup? I'm not sure why we have this one. Oh yeah, there it is. We talked about it breaking and coming back and retesting. That makes sense now. All right, so again, hard to see here, but let's see what we got on the lower time frame. Yep, there you go. Came down, we based below, and came back up and retouched it. So there is your triangle. Right? And again, there's a wick in the middle, but it came down and stabilized here, and then basically pulled up and back down again to form that kind of basing level here, and then came back and retouched and is down. So again, there's that Harry Potter from last night. You're up about 44 on it right now. At its peak, you're up 60 on it. So that's kind of that momentum breakout, guys. Remember, when it breaks through the bottom side of these zones, typically what you'll do is you have a pullback, and the area that was an area of buyers becomes an area of sellers and vice versa. So again, CAD Swiss, not that everybody looks at it, but again, 2 pips spread on that one, and you know, you're up what, over 2.5 to 1 at this point in this position. So again, it wasn't a crazy move, but definitely something that you could have got into. Again, that was about 9 o'clock this morning. 9 o'clock this morning is when that one actually came in and hit its trigger. So again, that's why that's important. Always be looking at charts between 9 and 11, 9 and 10:30, somewhere around there. That's where you're seeing a lot of these trade setups in the morning time. And again, CAD switch, you're like, what? But again, we knew we had Canadian news at 10. So, you know, kind of a little telltale sign that you need to make sure that you're covering those. Looking at the Swiss. All right, so yeah, Swiss. All right, so again, Swiss had a down and up day, kind of back and forth. You guys will see. Look at this. We drew this yellow line. Look at this yellow line. It literally came right down to that thing. As far as what we were looking for was This is our alert line to look for a long from this lower section. And it ended up not, I mean, you guys can see it. It didn't actually trigger. It just missed it. And what did it do? Went all the way right back up to the target. So what are you going to do? It's like, oh, man, the analysis was right. But unfortunately, there's nothing to get into. Yeah, here's where we were last night. You were just into this, looking to the downside. So yeah, this was the original target that we had painted, and that was from yesterday. And then this is the long that we had painted last night and just missed the entry. And it came all the way back up. The analysis was right. But front run. Now, question is, what are we taking off that zone again? I don't know. I feel like no. Let me see. Remove these. That one's over. No, I don't feel like I would take, maybe I take that short. I mean, we are kind of descending over here. God, I wish this was cleaner. I wish that was cleaner. Yeah, it feels like it does want to go back down looking at this. Like I said, with these ascending kind of tops on these, you have a high here and then a lower high, lower high, lower high. And you see some of these wicks over here. And it's made a couple attempts up. Now, these attempts have gone higher, but keep getting forced back down again. How much risk is in this one? Let me see here. It's only about 7 pips. It's not that bad. Let me see. I feel like that entry. I feel like it's already been used, though. That's the problem. It's an interesting call. So we only pierced that zone maybe about 10-15%. So it didn't go very deeply into the zone. But you'll see on this lower time frame, it's actually telling us the zone's just a bit higher. The risk on this one, in this case, is about 11 pips. So it's not bad. That may be worth a shot on it. I don't know that I'd use this zone again. I feel like you'd be pushing towards the very, very end when this area has been tested up here. So I feel like although this triggered and went back down again, that was the trade set up off the 30-minute. It's already kind of expired. I feel like this is probably not a bad trade. Yeah, that's probably where we are now. Like I said, on the hourly, you guys can see the zone. We've already hit the profit target. And again, I would expect it to go just a little bit higher. If you drop to the 30-minute, you can see this zone is a little bit better crafted, right? A little bit better crafted. Now, it's not an original zone. I mean, the original zone is here. And again, you're seeing it did move a bit higher, but that's kind of where the original zone was. Here, well, it's hard because of all those wicks. See, the problem is you have all these wicks to the downside. So, yeah, it's taking a little bit more of an aggressive stance on it. So, yeah, we'll mark it. We'll mark that one. All right, so let's go down and look at the euro pairs. Uh-oh. Guess who just bought a ticket, guys? I don't know if you guys saw that, but look who just bought a ticket. The queen is in the house. You guys are all done. She showed up tonight. Maybe she will politely let one of you win tonight, but I feel like, yeah. The queen is here. Everybody use caution. Watch your tickets. She's come for everybody's tickets. Pip chips are hers. All right, Euro CAD. Well, I'll start with Euro Aussie. All right, so look at this Euro Aussie bounce, right? So this is a hand-drawn zone. I mean, nothing but net, right? Look at this thing, right? We drew it right off the gap. And again, this is very, very similar to the Sunday night gap strategy that we use. Look at the bounce off this sucker, all right? I mean, boom. This was a little wick. Again, this is that basing level before, right? I'll remove that. And actually, so I hand drew this zone based off of this 4-hour mark. But check this out on the lower time frame, right? I will put this only on, well, you can see where you can see that it turned in this area. Daily and 4 hours. There's that zone. it actually created another one, gave us a little bit of a bounce. There you go. There's your 4 hour. There you go. There you can see. So by taking it on the hourly, it actually was able to lower your risk even more on that one. But it didn't matter even with the increased risk. You know, once it formed that zone, you went about 60, 70% of the way in. I mean, you're talking about, you know, quite a large stop, right? And like I said, this is not one that would be taken. It's 80 pips, right? Because this one, the ATR is completely jacked. But there was your 80 pip risk based off the 4 hour. A smaller zone was formed, and the smaller zone was only about 35. So the smaller zone, oops, triggered here, and bam, you're out. So not terribly bad, right? Not terribly bad. Yeah. By the way, do you guys? You probably can't see it because it's very, very small. But do you guys see what that says? Suggested position size 4.42 lots. Did you guys even know that there's a position size right inside of the tool? And when you hover over the connecting points for the risk to reward tool, it will actually show you the suggested number of lots in there based off of your account size. A lot of people don't know that that's there, but that's a nice little function that Matt put in. So again, that one would have worked a lot more risk than we typically like to take. But again, the analysis is the same. I mean, if this could have been, it could have been 5 pips or 10 pips, we would have been all over it. But because it was 78, we weren't. But the analysis is exactly the same. You know, again, you just got to take the smaller position sizes on things. All right, look at this guy. This guy's all over the place. Man, chopping back and forth. Let's see. This was also, see, this one didn't quite get filled on that Harry Potter. It came all the way down, then ended up going. So this is a great example of one that would have invalidated itself. So here we'll remove this top one to make the analysis a little easier. All right, so here's that zone that we talked about failing, right? There's the X, right? 1, 2, 3. Here's where we are now. And here's where we were last night. And what did I say? The next time it goes through, it's most likely going to fail. Okay? Right here is where we were last night. What did it do? Boom, based, collapsed through, and just missed. It went down to, you can't see it because of the green. You know what? I'll do this. Oops. Look how close that was. Look how close that was. So would you have taken a Harry Potter? No, we needed kind of an entry right here. If you didn't take the break, you would have needed the entry here. If it goes all the way down 95% of the way and then pulls back to the zone, you're not taking the short. It's already actually hit, you know, where the profit should be. So yeah, analysis was right. Told you guys it would break. And, you know, again, on this, I don't know if you guys can see here. I'll delete. You guys see the X right there? That X was the X marks the spot for me. You guys can see it right there. So again, 1, 2, 3 break, right? That's when the 3 and 4 is where we typically see those breaks, and we got on this one. Unfortunately, we just got no pullback on it. So that was our trade. You know, like I said, there's a little bit of an area we bounced off of right here. This bottom one, you guys can see it right there. You were able to actually take a long off of it as well. Again, and actually, let me go back just a little tiny bit further. There you go. You see how there's 2 zones in here? This top zone got hit. This is where you start to get a little bit nervous. When you have 2 zones like this, you typically take the farther one, particularly when it bounces and goes higher. You were definitely up at least a 1-to-1, right? If I box this off, there was my, no, not that. Come here. Right? That encompasses it completely, right? You can see the price had moved over 1-to-1. Okay, but what did it do? It came down and it hit the second zone, right? Hit the second zone here. There's your risk to reward. And what did it do? Bam. Hit it in one candle. So again, these 30-minute zones are pretty good. And again, 8:30 this morning. 8:30 a.m. this morning, this is when this one hit. So I'm telling you, a lot of people are like, no, you can't trade mornings, you can't trade opens. Here's another example where it ended up hitting that zone at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning and went to its full profit target. This was not a bad one either. I mean, this one you're banking, 37 pips on this one, right? 37 pips on Euro Yen. So that's not a bad move in the morning. Great way to start it off. And in this case, you were out by 9 o'clock in the morning. You're done. All right. So Analysis was correct. Ended up grabbing the reversal on the bottom side, looking for that pop back up again. All right. So I'm going to keep moving these to the side over here so we can use these for when we have additional setups. Okay. All right. So that one is done for now. I would not use that zone again. Crap, I deleted all of them. Oh, well. I need like a back function. Here's also on your hourly. You guys can see same zone. Same zone. The 4 hour, you're unable to see anything if I overlay it. Yeah, the 4 hours not till a bit lower. All right. Now, interesting place where we are right now. We pulled back up to that same zone. It is an area of sellers right now. I would probably wait before going short. I think using this zone up top where there's the hourly is probably a better bet. Something along those lines right there. Oops. I think that's probably a better bet. Wait for it to come up a bit higher in the curve. It actually based here before and then had a pretty nice move to the downside. So that would be my target where I think would be more or less ideal for shorts. Again, hourly zone here, it's kind of bracketed in. Okay. And again, if it breaks this one, there are a couple small minor zones, but that wouldn't necessarily be bad. Get this thing moving to the top side. Euro New Zealand. So you guys can see Euro New Zealand ended up banking right off that 4 hour zone. Actually, it's the hourly that it hit and ran into. The 4 hour, you can see the overlay on it. Oops. Weekly. You guys can see there's the retracement right off that zone. There's the daily. Right off that gap. There's your 4 hour. And again, 4 hour, what was it doing? It ended up being, it was basically flush right against that zone last night. And you can see here's the end result. Got super close, pushed down, came back up, has pushed into that zone again. And again, it pushed away, right? From this news, now this one is pretty big too. It's a 50 pip mover to the downside. The daily ATR, unfortunately, is still 233 pips, so it's not really tradable for us. But, had you been doing this one, that's not a bad little kind of push there, all right? And it looks like this one will continue to push back to the downside from that hourly. But again, kind of a big zone, right? Big risk, right? On this one, actually, this is not horrible. This is 35, but more than what's normal. Like I said, this is still 233, and it's not back yet. So close. And like I said, the great little zone. It's like, yeah, I traded that one. No, you didn't, because it's 118 pip stop loss, which you're not doing. Euro Swiss. So Euro Swiss is again the little one. The daily ATR says 34 pips. It's still not moving. Yeah, I mean, it had a little bit of a day today. It did a little bit, right? There you go. So we drove through that zone. So that zone is should be gone. Yeah, there we go. Clean some of this up. Yeah, there's a bunch of little minor zones that one broke through. Look at this on 30-minute. Just not enough movement. Like I said, 34 pip daily ATR. We're below what our average used to be. So just not worth trading, right? There's just not enough movement in this one, right? I mean, if you want to be in a grind for 5 days, then maybe, but there's just nothing for this one right now. Euro dollar. So euro dollar, this one is at a mean 100 points down right now, right? 100 pips down on the day. So here's what we had on the daily. You're able to see it. Pretty nice kind of push to the downside. Now, ATR on this one is 100. So putting in 124 hours is not necessarily bad. It is still coming down, but that's about what we should have done right now. Now, on the 4 hour, you can see we did have a bit of a spike before pushing lower. Here's where current price is. Right here. And then chart school was right here last night. We were at the top of this. So it was actually worse. We were actually down 130, where right now we're only down 100. So we were down more, but coincidentally, it just happened to bounce into this zone, right? So I think we marked this one off last night. You guys see that one? That's what we bounced into. And when we talk about entry, hold on. Yep, there you go. See the zone there? Now, again, I wouldn't use the whole thing. Just use the top one. I marked this one off because there's 2 zones, but look at that. Talk about an aggressive entry in. And then again, parabolic retracement. Gigantic candle in. Boom, retraced back up to exactly where we were. All right? Now, this one, interestingly enough, check this out. So there was your zone. So we know that there's a zone here, right? That got triggered. And what did it do? It came back up and it grabbed that zone right there. Okay. Is this a level of basing? Sure. Drop. Strong drop. little bit of a retrace, boom. So impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. Ran into this zone. And again, remember, I marked this off. We wouldn't take the bottom one, right? You would have only taken it off of that. And all the way back up. And that was a 34 pips. So another 35 pips. And it just happened to hit that area at 8 o'clock in the morning. You grabbed this one short this afternoon? Yeah. And that was a great one too. I mean, look at that. I mean, depending on, you know, how long you were holding that one. Look at that. Right? And again, there's your 25 based off your 3 to 1. There's your 37 and it's still going. It's down 53 pips. And if you're looking at that one in the lower time frames, whoops. Drop that one even lower. Clean this up a little bit. So, let's see, what do we got in here? A green, red, green. You may have gotten yourself out here, right? A green, red, maybe, but you wouldn't have trailed. The trail would have been fine. Then, yeah, I mean, there may have been one area right here that you got stopped on it, but for the most part, you could probably be running this thing still to the downside. Yeah, either of these two targets down here is probably okay. You got 50. Yeah, 50's fine on it. Yeah, I mean, we're in the after hours now, so it's not one of those things that's as important in the after hours. Like I said, if you're already in 50, there's no point in risking in the after hours, right? You know that. I don't need to tell you that to you. So yeah, so that, again, nice little movement on that one, right? Like I said, if you don't have these zones marked off, like I said, there was our chart. There was our chart level there from there last night. There and here. So those were your, yeah, so that's a total of what? Let's see. Oh, I just deleted it. Sorry. Whatever. So it's about what, 80 or 90 pips? Should have grabbed on that one today in the euro. So nice move. Now again, we're in the middle right now. Bigger question is, what do we do next? So we know price got turned around, and you guys can see it spent a bunch of time in that area. Don't think I would use it again. So just because this area, it spent so much time there, and yeah, it turned around. I think this level is probably a bit better, and then ideally this bottom one here is probably the best. Okay, but again, those zones earlier, they were formed on the hourly. So again, drop it tomorrow. Things that I'm seeing right now, I am seeing this little hiccup right here as a potential zone, kind of smack in the middle, right? And why do I see that one? Because again, it's pushing down, sideways base, and then explosion out to the downside. So, you know, there's a potential short sitting there for tomorrow. Okay, so keep that on your radar. Euro pound. All right, so let's cycle these through. All right, so euro pound. So this is what we talked about last night. Okay, we wanted price to go this way or this way. It just needed to make up its mind for which one. And you can see, like, it just happens to know that we had a line in here. I think we did the analysis on the lower time frames, right? So here's that kind of bottom basing level, but we're kind of waiting for it to kind of just get a bit lower. So it really didn't do much. It's moved 12 pips. So let me erase these so you can kind of see it a little bit more and kind of get an understanding of where it was actually moving, right? Okay, we're skirting along here. Okay, we're looking for some type of high quality kind of explosion. Here's kind of where we were, right? So here's where we are now, looking back. Here's where we were last night. Really not much. All it did was it went up. We had this one little zone here. Again, that was kind of an aggressive zone. It ended up taking the kind of the full one. Had we done the full one right there, actually you still would have got front run. So shorting this one would have been a bit more difficult. But you can see that we are literally bracketed in right now between basically this zone and this zone right here. Okay, the entire zone itself is about 57 pips, so it isn't, you know, it's a decent trade. That bottom side though, we went pretty deep in there. I'd be afraid that, how much is it? Let's see. it's about 18 pips. You were probably like 17 and a half into it, so a little bit more risky. It just may not have been ideal. Like I said, I think the euro dollar was a much better trade than this one. Looking at the two, I think that was the better bet. Now, and where we are now, we're smack in the middle of the zone, right? We're 50% between these two, so not really. Yeah, no trade set up on this one because we're sitting in the middle. We're not even close to the zone, so there's no point in going through it. EuroCAD, you can see EuroCAD took a pretty nice bounce there yesterday. Yeah, you guys can see this hand drawn. Again, it's the gap. It went just slightly lower, pushed back up. So now let me mark this one off. Put a small line right probably here. This is what I want to know. Oops. Yep, that's not a bad little short. What's the risk on that one? It's 50 on this time frame. Let me see on the lower time frame. Yeah, there we go. On that one, on the hourly, 16. Much better. Nope. Gotta hate when you miss the zone. Bam. So you were out pretty quickly on this one as well. Again, I mentioned this one last night because we had such a big push up, one base, and then a collapse back down again. So not too bad. You know, like I said, this one put some work in today. We were here last night, right here. Again, never got the entry on the Harry Potter. We never got the black space underneath, and it just took off. Right? Yeah, 22 and 22 right here. Yep. So not bad little level. Didn't catch that one either. See what happens when I record classes? I miss lots of charts. That was a 10 o'clock trade this morning also. So you guys see how many of these, like 9, 10, you know, how many of these morning trades? I mean, pretty much all your trades are set up and you're out. And in this case, you were out at by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Really didn't take too much heat on this one whatsoever. How'd you gotten into it? 15 pip risk. So you're grabbing 45 on that one also. So a lot of trade setups, right? A lot, you know, a lot of movement today. All right, so let's go over the pound now because that was the other biggie. We won't start off on that one. We'll start off with pound yen. So pound yen is down about 60. Rather a small day. You know, not a very big day. Again, we're still more or less consolidating, kind of going this sideways direction. We did definitely pull down and then kind of pulled back up again, and didn't really close much different. And this is kind of, you can kind of see what we're talking about, hitting that zone. There's kind of the hourly zone. It did shoot through the other side of it. We talked about that zone potentially being something. It wasn't the most ideal of zones. Again, the way that it's formed, you know, looking back, there's 3, and then it's technically down here, and it goes this low, and you know, either way, depending on how, if you would have drawn it, had you drawn it off this one, it would have still broke through. So it's just one of those ones. It went through. The analysis was correct. The zone was just, you know, not the best zone, unfortunately, for it to pop higher. Now, let's see where we are now. I don't know that I would take the short off of here. I mean, it did pull up. It did grab some orders. Again, it did push away pretty decently, but I don't know about that one. This one I don't mind because this is the start of this entire down day. So it definitely showed that there was some selling action in there, and that's up at 135.26. Let me put the tag on it for you. Up there. Okay. Kind of risky got in this one. Let's see. It's only about 24 pips. 24 pips risk on the pound yen, not horrible. And your 1 to 3 looks like it's going to be in a pretty good position. Your 1 to 5, it's not bad. I'd prefer if we didn't have this pullback right at it, but it's probably not too bad, not too shabby. And again, that's one of the lower time frame levels. Ideally, I'd like to be up there before the London Open, but we will see. Going to tomorrow, there is pound data tomorrow at 4:30, but it's credit conditions survey, so it's not like it's not one of the biggies, right? It's not one of the biggies, so I wouldn't worry about it as much. So that'd be where the short is. And you guys want to see where the other side is? I can actually fit it in there. Okay, and then profit targets down here. Just to make it a little easier for you guys to see. I don't know. Can we see just regular green? Yeah, we can see regular green, but I feel like I need to make it obnoxious green. Make it lime. I'm all over lime these days. Aussie's back, so it's collapsing ways. Yeah, probably. I mean, I want to see what the new. You know why? Probably because of this. Drama in the area. Don't deepen the negative interest rates. Do not pay your people, right, to borrow money. Oh, wait. The United States is doing that. Never mind. It's okay. By the way, did anybody get their checks today? Did anybody see their direct deposits come in? Direct deposits, anybody? Did you see them? Yeah. My wife and kids did. Q, but yours is like hush money. Yours is not like actually stimulus money. It's like hush money. It's like, do not get on social media and show people what the streets look like in New York City. He threw you a bone. Yeah. James, when you own half the state, yeah, I don't think you qualify. They said if you make $1 million, you're not going to get a check. Sorry, James. It's a ghost town. I know. I'm telling you, they don't want to see that. Right? Hey, just be glad it's not New Year's, because you know there'd be a bunch of idiots out there. I know. James is like, but it's just a couple mil. I mean, come on. Yeah, they said James makes too much. What? I mean, come on. When you're an oil baron, you know, when you drive the Boss Hog, when you drive the Boss Hog Caddy, right? The Boss Hog Caddy, what are you going to do? New York City's a scary place. But so Q, here's a question. It is a scary place, but I guess you said the subways are still being used until they shut the subways down. Like, I'm curious, like, I don't know. I mean, all these cities across the world, like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel bad for New York City, but that's what's going to call. No, Nate Egg's called IRS on James. Nice. If they send. Yeah, right. Yeah, guys, exactly. All right, so this is pound yen. So let's go to Aussie. So pound dollar. So as you guys can see, pound dollar on the day also had a big turn, and we saw that yesterday, right? We saw this kind of spin in this area right here, bouncing off this wick over wick. Now we just barely tapped it. It did basically grace it, and it came all the way back down and then bounced off this opposing zone. Nice run on this one in total. It moved about 198 pips. Seeing where we were though last night, we were right here. Okay, so we had already left the area. It was a bit late, right? A bit late, but it did bounce off that 4-hour zone and literally came down and tagged that other zone, the opposing zone, right here. You can see there's where the start of that zone is. Let's check that one out. Yeah, you can see it's see how this is like it's more or less base, and you're seeing the low, the higher low, the higher low, the higher low, the higher low, showing us that there's orders in there. That's what it kind of slammed back into. So not a bad little. I bet you the level stops right down here too. Let's see. What do we got? Let's see. Yep, right there. So yeah, nice little pop. And again, it's not marked off. Actually, hold on. Let's see. It did have it marked off, and again, definitely not that little tiny one right in the middle. Look at that. It did have it marked off, and that one also kicked in at 9 o'clock this morning. Okay, 9 o'clock this morning. Oops. I have so many hotkeys. And look at that. 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio based off of that drop as well. Okay. 85 pip runner on that one. And again, that's literally turning the target, grabbing this one, forming a base on that one. Risk on it was 27. See, I'm telling you, 9 o'clock in the morning. Magic hour. Keep it going. Would not take it again because it drove about 80% of the way through. So before anybody asks, should we take a long from that? No, I wouldn't take another long off of that one. It just went too deep into the area. So I may buy a hazmat suit. Hey, all I got to say, have you seen, there's that like the people of Walmart, that thing. Have you seen some of the memes of people with the different masks they have on? It's absolutely hysterical. There's one guy with it's like a 5-gallon. He basically turned a 5-gallon water bottle. He cut it off so it goes over his shoulders, and he's inside the $5 or the 5-gallon water jug. That was a good one. I saw a person with a Brillo sponge, one of those green and yellow sponges to their face. There's all kinds, but that's like the new thing. It's like I saw one guy. He was wearing trash bags. And the reason I'm saying this is because yeah, you posted some of them in there. Yeah, did you see the guy in the trash bag that has duct taped himself like around the elbows where the trash bags are meeting? Like it must have taken him an hour to get into this thing. It's like, dude, what do you have to do if you have to pee, right? He had like goggles on and everything else, but he was in like I swear he watched Outbreak, right? He put himself in trash bags. Yeah, you posted that one? Oh, I must have missed that one. Yeah, absolutely. I was dying. Did you post? Are you sure you posted it? Which channel did you post that one in? Because I saw somebody post that one, but it was on Instagram. Man, Q, you're killing me. But that one was absolutely hysterical. I was dying when I saw that one. Oops, hit the microphone. I don't even know where you put it. But yeah, the guy in the trash bag was my favorite one. When I saw that today, I was dying. I thought it. Let's see it. I don't know what channel. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, I'm like, dude, you're wrapping yourself in industrial trash bags and then you're duct taping it together. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, it was that's exactly what it was. Yeah, it was the hefty hazmat suit. Yep, absolutely, and a roll of duct tape. So next thing you know, people are going to see that, and there's going to be a run on duct tape. We're not going to have any duct tape left. Right, so looking at this position. So on the daily pound CAD, daily ATR is still 213, so quite large. It's coming back. It's not quite where it should be. It did push quite high. It didn't actually tag that zone. And again, this is not a zone I'm interested in trading. It's just way too. There's way too much inside of that. Inside of a 4 hour, you can see that nothing's really pulling back. We had a tiny level drawn. You guys can see we had a tiny level drawn here, right? That was from before, and then that ended up triggering. Since that time, there's nothing else in there. Nothing else really here. So we are pushing. Let's see. I don't think that we violate any zones up here. There was a little bit of a zone there. Yeah, so that one looks like it got bust through. So that was a bad one. About 22 on that one. This one was good. That one got busted. And now it looks like nothing is formed on that one. So we're kind of in a flip pattern right here. Again, if we have a little bit of a pull up on the hourly, one green candle, one red candle, there could be a short in here. It's about 96 pips, so there is definitely some room to run on this. And it hasn't even pulled back at all yet. How much risk was in that? About 25, a bit too much. Again, whenever you get front run like this, there's always that. And it's a bit aggressive, but again, because it was a pop, you were looking for some type of a failure. Let me see, is there a 15? Ooh, maybe the 15. Yeah, there's a, I would have triggered. How small is that? It's 9 pips, yeah. Yep. Missed it on this one. No way to get short on that one. So nothing to do there. Pound Aussie, kind of a similar situation. It's already pulled away. Got front run 2 days ago. Has pushed away. Not really in a great area for us to get into it. Like I said, it's bound. It got pushed off that level. There we go. And you can see we're not even far enough up top. We marked this level off last night. Oops. Right there. Let's mark this. Go red. Bam. Up in that zone. Okay. Well, that's about a redneck is Waffle House. Hey, there's nothing wrong with Waffle House. Down here, people are wearing Dollar General bags. Did you see the guy? There's one picture where the guy has the plastic bag on his head. I was like, man. Dollar General. There's nothing wrong with Dollar General. Pound New Zealand, I'm not going to bother with. Like I said, 246. Pound Swiss, 218. This one got close, has not gotten up to the target. Basically, it just flatlined on us today. Yeah, it's just consolidating in. Consolidating in. Let's wait for it. Top or bottom. Either way, I'm good. But we got 60 pips before the bottom. So not quite. That one is still marinating. Let's go to New Zealand. Check that out on the daily for New Zealand. This one was a tanker for sure today. Nice little bounce off that, though. Ernest is the bounce that you got earlier, right? I'll get about 38 on that one. Yeah. I would have actually probably assumed it would have went just a little bit more. Like I would have probably had a target up in there and we got super close. But once you had a red here, I would have been out for like 35, 36. I would have missed my target on that one by just a little bit. But again, it looks like it's going to continue to push the downside. Got out 36. Yeah, that's probably the best. That was probably the best way to play that one. Yeah, because I mean, you know, like I said, when it's coming up to here and you get this actually here, you would have had to put it here. Yeah, see, it would have just missed, like based off that entry level. Let's see. We have our entry here. Yeah, I mean, you were at 55. So when it pulls back on you and starts to go up again, once this one fails and starts to collapse, it's kind of like, you know. So like getting out in this range right here, yeah, it's right about here is where you got out, which is probably fine. Like I said, you didn't want to go much lower than that level. Yeah, played that one right. Close, but what are you going to do? It happens. All right, so I would say, but I'm still bearish this position. I do think that this one will continue to drive down. I think there'll be eventual targets here. So, I mean, let's see. 17 pips. I mean, this zone is basically smoked at this point. You could take this and do something along those lines. I'm not worried about this little dinky zone right here. Let's see. That's about 10 pips in there. That could be a nice little setup for tomorrow. See if that continues to punch through the bottom. I'm not worried about. No, I'm not worried about that guy. So that's kind of what I would. Here, I'll put the again, match it to your pricing, but approximately there. And there. I don't know if you can see those, but basically the bottom line is 59.40, the top line is 59.52. Okay. Yeah, you shorted it last night up here. Yeah. I saw that one. That was a good one too. New Zealand yen. So New Zealand yen is actually more bouncy on this one. Again, nice turn and flip. Here's what we got on the 4 hour. There is our 1 hour. Right? Right, here's where we were. Right here. That was that one from last night. This one also looks like it's going to go down. This formation right here. Yeah, you can see, you can tell that, again, popped, pushed down, based. Bam, bam. So I don't think I would take that one again. Maybe. Neither one of them really did. How much is it? Let's see. Only 12 pips. That's actually probably not horrible zone, although it's already been hit twice, so. God, I don't want it to do that. All right, fine. I'll cheat. Go this way just a little bit. Oh, that snap feature. How I hate you. Yeah, you're talking about the bottom side of that was 64.56 to 64.66 or 67. So not a bad little position. Again, there's 2 entries off of that one. That one actually tagged. That was pretty early. That one was, well, I guess not, 10:30 and 8. So not bad trades. Let's go down into the euro or the US pairs. All right. Oh. All right, so a little bit of a bounce in this guy, right? We talked about that last night. There's your zone. There's your 4 hour. Let's just move that guy over there. Here's the current candle, and when we look back, we were sitting right here last night. So we talked about this one potentially bouncing, and we ended up getting the bounce out of it. On the hourly, you can't really see it as much. Again, that was off of a 4 hour zone right there. On the hourly, you can see what we hit. Now, again, got a little scary here, but did not actually breach the bottom side of that target or that entry. Again, if you're in this trade, if you didn't get out your 1 to 3 here, you're past the 1 to 3 right now. I wouldn't go much farther than this. I do actually like the zone that it's kind of sitting at right now. That is a potential place for us to short in the overnight as well. Ideally, again, with news and everything tomorrow, I think I'd be looking for shorts up in this area right here. Right, I definitely think there are shorting possibilities if we can rally that high. But in the overnight, there could be a nice little setup here, drop into the downside. Right, if you're looking for some type of gotta keep hitting that R in the overnight, which is 107.94 to 108.08. Right, right there. You guys can get a little glimpse of that one. All right, that could be a nice little overnight trade as well. Let me check something real quick. While I have that up, let's see, Nadex, log in, be part of the future, join the beta. I don't know about that. All right. Let's see. Oh, I'm looking at indices already. I'm like, wait, what are we doing? Hold on. Oops. Let's see. What do we got here? 107.95. No, everything's too far apart. I was hoping we maybe be at like a daily call spread there, somewhere close, but no. Nope. It's a bit higher. Well, I guess that not. I get. We're at what is it? 107.87 is. No, it's too far. It's 35 pips away. So no, there's nothing in the overnight for that one. Oh well. I was kind of hoping. Let me see. Is there a binary? Let me see how jacked up the binary is on that one. Let's see. Still 20 pips apart. That one would move about 40 pips down. 107.40. Well, it's not horrible. There is so there's a binary sitting right here. 107.40. Right there. That's not too bad. So it's a little bit early because we're not quite at that zone yet. But the risk in that one. Baby's jacked. Here, I'll just drag it over. There's the risk in something small like that. So it's not quite at the zone. I'd like it a little bit better if it was in the zone, but it's not quite there yet. Again, this is a big kind of explosion after hours. Typically, you see somewhat of a retrace for that one, and especially going into tomorrow morning with the unemployment numbers. Again, this is actually what time did I use? I used the 11 a.m. The 3. Let's see. The 3 puts us a little bit more risk. Right, you're about 20, but because you have all the extra time in that one, you may even want to drop down and use this one a little bit farther away. But it only, the risk in it's $11. You could take it out at 30 just with tomorrow's volatility, and have a chance to get your 3 to 1 out of that one. So yeah, so that's something minor there, something minor. All right. All right, that's what we got there. Let's go to dollar CAD. All right, so dollar CAD was on crack today. There's no other ifs, ands, or buts about it. It was literally on crack. So right now, let's see. Let's the big tool get out of the way. All right. Right now, this thing is still up. And again, it's been down in the last hour. It's still up 212 pips, 211 pips, right? 211 pips. And again, you guys can see all this red here, right? So this is actually worse, and it's retracing already on us, okay? On the daily, you can see it just took an enormous bounce. I mean, we talked about this yesterday. There was really not really, too much to get in over here. This thing just absolutely just went nuts, all right? There we go. Now, was there opportunities to get in? Sure, there was. This zone, obviously, again, great area, right? Great looking area, but it just went insane. Let's see, 21 and 23 was down here. So we had just kind of left that area. So minor zone, it rallied crazily. Now it's going up. It actually went a little bit higher than our zone here. So let me drop, whoops. Let's go up on the 4-hour. Yeah, we're sitting right in this zone right now. So we're sitting here, right? That's quite a large jump in a small period of time. Let's see. The zone is... That is about a 36 pip zone. So it's kind of like, it's a little bit much, but check this out. So the 1 to 3 is not in a bad position, right? There's nothing really stopping. There's a little bit of here, but it's a mirror wick, so we don't have to worry about as much. And then this is before the opposing zone. Let's see. Let's see here. I'll put this over here so you guys can kind of see. You know what? Let's do it this way. You guys can see these. Nope, not that one. That's the one I wanted to move. So there's that. There'd be your stop on that side. Try to shrink this as much as I can. There we go. Let's see. Put that there. That there. And I'll just put the bottom one because you'll be able to see the 1 to 3 in the middle. Right approximately there. So not bad. Again, what you may want to do is you may want to put an order on the downside as it leaves. That may be the best way to handle that one. Let's look at it on the hourly. Yeah, wait for a confirmation coming out of the bottom on this one. That's probably the best. So wait for a red, green, red, and then place your risk accordingly. Because that if you do get the red on the other side, you will be able to drop this risk down a little bit lower. Make that a little bit nicer in the overnight. Problem, again, I'm not even going to look at Nadex on this one. The problem with Nadex on this one is this one always has a higher, wider spread differentials. I have no idea why, but for some reason the dollar CAD is up there. All right, so cautious with that guy, but you guys are able to see it. Oops. I'm not even going to be able to find him now. I must hit delete. Oh, there we go. I was like, where is it? So you guys can see those numbers. All right, dollar Swiss. So yeah, so dollar Swiss. It took a bounce off that zone. Again, it was a daily zone that it was marked off of. It didn't quite go as far as we wanted it to. We wanted to actually drop a bit more and then actually take off down here. Didn't make it. It just stopped. It's consolidating in. It's inside of kind of sideways channel right now. Really, I'd say that this is probably the channel, and we're kind of sitting about 60% through it right now. So as far as setups in this one, nothing on larger time frames, on lower time frames. You guys can see even on the lowers, there's really not much. We didn't get back down to this level. I'll take these out now. This one's about 16 pips. It's all right. It's not a bad zone. I like the way it was formed. Looking to the left, there's not too much there. It's about 10. Something along those lines. It's not horrible. It's not bad. It's probably like a B trade. Like I said, I'd prefer if this was up there before the news tomorrow. Again, it's a 15-minute chart, so it's got a lot of time before tomorrow morning. But check this level out. Again, dollar Swiss could be something to trade before the unemployment report tomorrow, which kicks in at 8:30 a.m. So check this in the morning, and we'll see if that one is a good one. But in the overnight, I'm going to let that one sit. So let's go into the fun guys. The fun ones, we're going to start off with the funnest guy. Not that one. This one. All right, so yeah, oil. So oil down, touched in the 19s today. Actually got in the low 19s. I don't think we actually made it down to 18. Nope, 19.10. All right. It's not really moving. I mean, it's bouncing back and forth. We're in kind of a dollar range, but besides that, here's where we are, right? So we're at a level of basing. There hasn't really been, you can see the indicator is not pulling any major moves in here. We have nothing until we really get back up into this 21.75 range. So it's got some excuse me, it's got some room to run. But I mean, I can't really tell you what the trend is because there's not really a trend. I mean, you have a little bit of a whipsaw back and forth, and then just stayed within the same range. So, yeah, again, nighttime assessment of this one just doesn't work very well because so much happens in the overnight. There's just not a whole lot we can do on it. So, yeah, I mean, we're at a level of basing right now. I mean, looking at this, if this was any other position besides oil, knowing that it only really trades during the day, I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, hey, listen, we had a lot of basing right here. Really in both those two levels. And that's kind of what we're bunching up against right now. On an hourly, kind of the same thing, right? I mean, the indicator's not grabbing it, so it doesn't meet the, the statistical kind of, doesn't match the fractals, but it's close. I mean, to me, it looks like it's butting up in this 2050 range. It's looking like it's butting up to an area where we're in a short again. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to say, oil's waiting for James whenever he's ready to trade. Yeah, I know, right? James is sampling the next batch out, right? Because I think moonshine takes what? Is it 30 days? It's like 2 weeks to ferment, and then you have the mash, and then the mash is like a week or something like that. So based off of the schooling, Ernest, right? And the shelter in place orders, James should have a batch coming online now. So that's probably why we didn't see the oil movement today. That's got to be what it is. It's based off the shelter in place order being 3 weeks ago. At least that's what I got from, Moonshiners, that show. But yeah, so if anything, guys, I have to say I'm probably getting, I'm looking short for oil. I mean, that's to me, that's what it looks like, right? It looks like we're getting into an area. Last time price was here, it took a pretty nice bounce. It based and dropped. So yeah, it looks like it's basing. Now look at gold. Look at gold. Look at that. I see more red. I see more red. Look at this on the 4 hour. More red. But we are hitting an area. So, interesting about this one, you guys know I'm not a big trend line person, but very, very, it's not hard to see this one, that lower, 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 that we're in a downtrend. And what have we been holding on the bottom? We've been holding a zone, right? We've been holding a zone. Here was that old zone that we had from before. If you guys see this, if I extend this across, you can see that not only did it hit the zone, but it went up to your 1 to 3 target again and actually helped create that bottom zone. So that same zone that we traded before, that wick over wick, was also valid for a long today. If anybody got into this one, you trade. Yeah, quarantine is no problem. So again, that nice little, that zone there that we talked about last night that we had used before in the past, again, it worked. Now I probably wouldn't use it again. Again, 3 times is sometimes the charm, right? There's your 1, there's your 2, drove pretty deep. It has formed a level, but it's been banging on that level, and those sellers are coming in. So if anything, again, for me, I still feel like this is probably, probably in a short position once we clear this gray bar. Again, your targets are going to be, I mean, if anything, I'd be looking at this, right? Take this to the downside. Look at that. There's your 1 to 3. There's your 1 to 5, right where the profit target should be. Back down at 1688. Oh God, the baby's jacked. So here, there's where your 1 to 5 target is. There's the break of that bottom of the zone. Right? So there's kind of what we got looking for gold. Look at oil. Not oil. Silver. As you guys can see, I mentioned silver taking a tank. What did it do? It came right off, right? Here's where we are now. Here's where the position was last night. Just getting ready to leave that zone, and it dropped from what? 1566 down to 1533. So not huge movement in silver. You can drop it over here. It looks much more powerful over here, right? Not really. It wasn't really a big mover. Yeah, not as big of a mover. Again, it was red. It went down. It bounced off a zone, so it did what it was supposed to do technically, based off these higher time frames, but was not really, a gigantic. And you guys can see, look. So here's the level on the 4 hour. So let's make this only a 4 hour level. And you can see, based off of this, you can see there's a little zone in there, right? You see that green in there, that green dot? I can't stretch it out anymore because of this wick, but see that green dot? There's the dot. It's not actually green. It's actually red, but it shows up as green because of the other color on top of it. So dropping down to the hourly, look what you had right here. Right here. Right there. There was your entry. There you go. That one triggered at... Actually, would have been right about on chart school last night. Right there. So you were out in this one in the overnight, out at 2 o'clock in the morning. So there would have been the setup on that one. And as of where we are right now, I don't really see much into it. It's just kind of basing sideways. So that would have been the actual short position itself. But you guys know I don't trade silver as often. It just, I look at it for you guys more than anything else. I think Sean's one of the only ones. I don't know that anybody else actually looks at it. But there would have been your trades, your short, Sean, in silver. Hopefully you got it. All right, looking at NQ. So NQ. Here's our daily. She's screaming in the other room. She's jacked. She's literally jacked. All right, so that was at 88. Yeah, we'll leave it at 88. What was it? 88.98? Is that what it said? Yeah, I think 89, right? Anyway, leave it there. So you guys can see, last couple hours, it's done not a whole lot. But, you know, mentioned last night that, hey, listen, I can see this having a red day. And it did. It's, you know, it went down. As far as entries on it, though, I mean, not too much in there. Like I said, it was kind of like, I mean, it bounced off a level here. You know, a little bit of a zone here. Right? Didn't get its re-entry up top. It's about the only one. That's 3 o'clock in the morning. Wasn't taking that one. Yeah, I mean, there's a long right here. 11:30. Could have taken a long. Right there. And you ended up hitting your profit target about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Or about 3 o'clock. So there was a long. Based off this little 30-minute zone. Again, popped up, came all the way up to here, then came back down and retested the day area. Again, newly formed zones. Again, these 30-minute indices in the morning time have been putting in some great zones. That's the way to trade it. As far as the overnight goes, there's nothing in this one for the overnight. Look at this one tomorrow morning. All right. Again, remember that we have the unemployment number tomorrow, so that's the biggie. So looking at the Dow on the 4 hour, again, mentioned red day, obviously red day. 4 hour came down. It's sitting actually in a zone right now. Didn't actually make it up. We wanted to go a bit higher, right? On the 4 hour, we were, you know, oops. Here's where we are now. Here's where we were last night. I wanted to go just a bit more. Didn't quite get in there, but do you guys remember what was the touch bracket that we put up there last night? Do you remember? Was that in the S&P? I feel like the touch bracket that we went over last night was actually in the S&P. I feel like it was. Anybody remember which touch bracket it was? I'm not sure if it got stopped out or not. It is close, but again, it ended up pushing down. Let's see. Unfortunately, I didn't save it. I didn't write it down. I didn't trade it. I should have. But look at that. Last night, we were right at the peak. Okay. Do you remember what it was? Because, I mean, here's where we were last night. I mean, let's see. I can actually go down to the lower time frame and figure it out exactly. So 2230, 2230. So yeah, so 2230 is here, right? So any touch bracket we put on, there's no way that it didn't go any higher than that. We were basically at the peak, right? For that touch bracket, I don't remember what it was though. And all it's done since that time at 2230 from right here. Actually, I guess it did pull up just slightly. 2230 is right here. Okay. That's what it's done since that time. It did go up about 3 points above. But again, we would have had our stop. I think we would have had the top of this bracket up that yellow line. So there's your touch bracket trade from last night, guys. Talking about bouncing off higher levels. Right? Right there. I wish I remembered what it was. I'm going to have to go back and watch the video from last night and figure out which one it was. Again, not a bad move, right? We went from what 28.37 all the way down to 27.61. So not a bad position. And the risk was what, $50 on that one, I think? I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I'm pretty sure it was like $50 risk on that one. So that was a good mover. It's a good mover. So yeah. Where we are now is our trade for this one tonight. Not really. Got to see what it does tomorrow. Like I said, if we're down in this 4-hour zone tomorrow, down into here for the open, again, we could have a bounce off that level. Right? We could have a bounce off that level. Something 28.61. Yeah, 28.61 could have been fine. I mean, it didn't go above that. But yeah, I think that may have been. I don't know. I'll check it now. I'm pretty sure that I think it got stopped out to the bottom. Well, like hit target on the bottom side. Hold on, let me touch brackets, indices. No, they all got it. Would have hit the bottom side. Yeah, it hit the bottom. There is a. I'm gonna have to go look at it again. I can't see it right now, but they've all been pushed out the bottom side at this point. Yeah, I mean, I think it was like a 400 and I think it was a $50 risk on that one. What are they? They're 50 points apart. So they're worth what? 500 a piece each one? Yeah. So it was a $450 trade from last night on one contract. Yeah. All right. So with that being said, guys, that is it for tonight as far as the analysis goes. Like I said, no setup. Want this one to come a little bit lower. We'll see where it is tomorrow morning before news. Don't forget that news tomorrow morning is coming in right here. Okay, they've adjusted it. They've only adjusted it one time. Eventually, this number will be too high. When that number gets to be a bit too high, I expect the market will pop pretty nicely because people are like, oh, wait, that's not as bad. I think the worst is here. The bottom's in. Like I said, everybody wants to know when the bottom is in, and that's the biggest problem. Again, they've missed it. It's been high the last 3 weeks in a row. Eventually, they are going to forecast too high. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or not, but it will eventually kick in, and it will be one of those things. But the last, what we've seen the last couple times when it's been bad is the market has done what? The market has gone up. So with the market going up, is there something potentially sitting down here, by tomorrow morning? If it grinds, and puts itself here, sure, there could potentially be something down there. I mean, that puts us approximately around, what, 2740-ish, right? 2740 to 2721, right? So depending on where we are, if you're a touch bracket kind of guy, right? I tend to be more of a spread guy, but if you're a touch bracket kind of guy, look at this. If that's the bottom of the zone, that's like where we need to be out. There's two options. There's this one at 2716. And there's this one at 2726. Okay. 2726 is here as a bottom. So pretty close, right? That zone starts here. 2740. So if we're sitting down there tomorrow morning, this position right here, actually this one right here could be the winner. Right? Take a couple points risk on that one. At 2726. Right? Because 2726 is right here. Right there. Look at that. Not too bad for a pop, right? No. I don't do anything. I don't touch anything those things. You're talking about You're talking about these. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I've never even, like, they don't make any sense to me. Like, they're not even in order, right? They're not, because you're like, oh, wait a second, wait, this one's missing. It's like, okay, nobody's willing to get this one. I mean, this is just purely speculation. Like, I feel like this is like, if they did this on oil inventory, I feel like James would be really good at this. But I mean, this is just, 95% of people, basically 95% of people think it's going to be above this, right? This one, you don't have a whole lot of risk. This one, you don't have a whole lot of risk. This one, I mean, so people are basically saying, yep, it's definitely going to be above 5, right? Is it going to be above 6? That's where it gets a little bit funky, right? And that's quite a big jump. I mean, you're talking about 750,000. That's quite a big jump. But, you know, and that's where on the other side it gets to be a little interesting. It's like, is it going to be above 6? I don't know. Maybe not. But it's just speculation. It's lottery ticket. It's just guessing. I mean, you can do educated. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of educated guessing in there, but it just, yeah. I mean, it's just gambling. It's just gambling. So, all right, guys. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get your tickets in. Exclamation point ticket to get your drawing in. I'll do it at 1:40:30. So I'll give you guys a minute to be able to get in with your exclamation point ticket. Remember, this is for Pip Chips. The winner last night is this lady right here. If she wins again, she gets 100 today. Now, we haven't had a double winner in a while, and with only eight tickets in, I don't know, can she pull off a 2-day stunner? We've never had a 3-day winner, but we have had 2 back-to-back, and I think we've done that like 3 or 4 times, but we haven't had one in 2020 yet, I don't think. No whammies, no whammies. Exactly, right? Yeah, we'll see how it comes out. 20 more seconds. Like I said, you guys got a delay, so I'm going to close it down on time. Yeah, watch her. She's putting the codes in now, guys, to win. Watch her. She'll start doing, like, you know, some gibberish, some codes. There we go. Let's see. Sean throwing that extra ticket in there. And bam. Look at that. Dead on. Bam. I think Ernest won 3 out of 4 1 week in 2018. Lorena's like, nah, I'm just drinking wine. They're taking my alcohol. I'm drinking it all now. All right. Winner of the drawing for tonight is 3, 2, 1. Oh! Look at that. Will takes the win. Will can no longer say I've only once in 2020 because now he has won twice. Bam! Look at that, right like that. Yeah, it wasn't you, but it's okay. Ernest dislikes Will almost as much as he dislikes you, right? Or Ernest is so angry he's throwing chairs again. I don't know. Maybe. After seeing that meme about throwing the chair and having it stick in the wall, I don't know, guys. I feel like there's a contest in that one. What am I going to whine about now? I know. I don't know. Mark that one off. Will is the winner for tonight. Congratulations, Will. Uh-oh, it broke again. Oh, there it is. I was like, no. Leaderboard, Will. Oops. 25. One of those days I'm going to actually hit like 50 or 250 or something. And Ernest is going to be like, yo! Next will be 220. Yeah, I know. Will's not going to win again for the next year. All right, guys. With that said, I am out of here. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Glad that the microphone worked out. Any other feedback you guys can give me, throw it into Discord, and I will catch you guys in the morning for the numbers. Take care.